Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. It is Monday, December 1st, time for the 14 First Alert Weather Show at 9 o'clock. We have winter weather moving in, so we're going to spend quite a bit of time talking about that. I'm also watching your comments and weather reports here on the 14 News Facebook page. So if you want to comment in, maybe you're getting sleet or snow where you are, or rain, let me know, and we'll kind of compare notes here in just a couple of minutes. Of course, we have a First Alert Weather Day, and this was issued over the weekend by Michael Fecca as he looked ahead to the exact conditions that are coming together now. The main area or time of risk will be overnight tonight, and that wintry mix of snow is coming right now. That will make roads slick and sidewalks slick in the morning as temperatures fall. That winter weather advisory extends all the way up the Ohio River Valley. It includes all of our tri-state counties, and while we're not looking for a big blockbuster snow like we had over the weekend to our north, it will be an impactful mix of sleet and ice that will cause some problems out there. At the moment, the radar is showing kind of a transition zone here right along the river and south, with rain indicated there at Hartford, right up into McLean County there around Calhoun, and maybe out to the south end of Owensboro down around Utica, and then a change over to snow. Now, when I walked in the station here just a moment ago, we were getting rain, and the temperature in my car was showing 34. Here in the station, our thermometer is showing 31 outside. And we'll check the official temperature here in a minute, but this is a pretty extensive system, and don't be fooled by just this part of it. There's quite a bit more yet to come. A little more energy and more favorable conditions will lead to a burst of snow overnight, and that's where that 1 to 2 inch accumulation comes from. Our models have been picking up on that aspect of it pretty well with that overnight time frame there, maybe a couple, 3 hours, where we would see some snow coming down and accumulating. By the morning commute, no falling snow or wintry mix, but it will be cloudy and, of course, below freezing. So anything that falls on untreated roads will be frozen and slick. It wouldn't surprise me to see some delays and cancellations in the morning. So keep that in mind before you go to bed tonight. Check your 14 First Alert app. Watch Byron on the 14 News Sunrise program starting at 4:30. Actually, to be Arden tomorrow. She's in for Byron, who wisely scheduled vacation for yesterday and today, or today and tomorrow, about a month ago. He had no clue that we were going to have snow. Anyhow, the snow amounts, at least as forecast here on our models, still within that 1 inch to 2 inch range. There could be a couple of spot amounts up to 2, but I think generally we're looking at 1 inch or so, and probably less in many spots. Now, the bigger picture shows that we have this first wave coming in now, but notice back here on the backside, quite a bit of snow there to the west of St. Louis, and as that moves in, this dry area will begin to fill in with snow later tonight. The hour by hour here paints this picture pretty well. I'm going to show it again though, and this is actually the high resolution model. So this will be interesting to compare, and it's showing the heavier snow there already to our east by 1, and then lesser amounts there to the backside after that. Overnight then we get cloudy, northwesterly winds will keep the temperature down during the day on Tuesday. We may not crack above the freezing mark tomorrow. Well, we are right at 32 here at the station, or actually at Evansville Regional Airport, and that's why we have kind of that mix falling out there. Temperatures started this morning in the middle 20s and got all the way into the middle 30s this afternoon, despite pretty well persistent cloud cover out there. Our temperature is 6 degrees warmer than it was last night at this time, and our actual temperature this morning was 7 degrees colder than normal. The high this afternoon, 15 degrees below normal. So this is when we show you those long range, much below average temperatures. That's what this is, what we're getting right now. Typically be around 50 or so this time of the year, first week of December. There's November. We will start adding December days, of course, tomorrow. Even though today's the 1st, we don't have any data in there and can't run averages or anything. But the sum total here was that we had about 3 1/3 inches of rain for the month of November, which is a little light on rainfall. Not a concern. We have quite a bit of surplus there coming in. Our average temperature for the month was about a degree warmer than normal. And predictably, that commute, we're expecting it to be slick in spots out there as temperatures fiddle around there near freezing. Well, the midsection of the country is getting it tonight. We have snow or a wintry mix from Michigan all the way down to about the boot heel of Missouri, then a change over here to rain. No severe weather this evening, so that's a good thing. That low pressure will continue to turn and move up the Ohio River Valley, taking the snow with it. Behind it, we have high pressure building in. That'll clear skies by tomorrow afternoon and evening. And then we get the next surge of cooler air, kind of a dry cold front, at least for the tri-state it will be. That will come down on Wednesday night and early Thursday. So it reinforces those 20s at night and, low 30s in the afternoon. Friday, we perk up a bit to 38 degrees, 40s over the weekend, but still pretty raw out there. You're going to be watching for us. I think Arden and I, I know Arden and I are in the Henderson Christmas Parade. I think that's at 10:30 Saturday morning. So it'll be cold. You'll want to bundle up before you come out there and wave at us, and we will do the same. On the GFS model, we are dry through Friday, Saturday. Sunday was showing the chance of another winter weather system moving in during the morning and afternoon. And again, if that comes to fruition, we could be talking about impactful wintry weather again. But with that being that many days out, 6 days out, we'll kind of reserve judgment on that. Let's see if the European has a vote on the weekend here. So we go through the week dry for the most part. And then here's its depiction of Sunday. It too is picking up on a wintry weather potential there. Little storm system spinning through. So with those two things in mind, we will keep an eye on Sunday. We're not going to throw an alert day on that just yet. We'll kind of see how tonight plays out. 25 degrees for the low overnight, and then only up to 32 tomorrow. Again, untreated roadways will be the big culprits for slickness out there. Through the remainder of the week, temps well below normal. Over the weekend, we get closer to it there in the 40s, and our temperature outlook through the 15th of December still well below normal across the tri-state and near normal to drier than normal precip. Hey, I ran out of pet pics, so I had to go back. This was actually a Halloween pic, but I liked it. So this is Maui, the chameleon, who in this case is dressed as a cowboy. And there's nothing more festive than a chameleon dressing up as a cowboy. I guess he would change into one if it were around other cowboys. I don't know if that's, that's a chameleon that blends into its surroundings. So anyway, thanks to Joanne Bittner from up there in Hobstadt for that pet pic tonight. Excuse me. Let's have a look at your comments and questions here this evening. And, well, we have quite a few on there tonight, predictably here with winter weather moving in. All right, let's see here. We will just roll right down there. Trevor Norrington, school delays. Well, it's certainly possible. We don't have any into the newsroom yet. When we do get some, they'll be at the bottom of your screen. And some of you wishing the rain hadn't come before the snow. I know you don't get to choose, but that's pretty common scenario here, especially when you have that low to the south drawing the warm air up. Sleeting in Calhoun. Well, thank you, James Brooks. I appreciate that report. Southwest Owensboro rain right now. Craig McFadden. Carol Rubel says, if I'm wondering about the weather, look out the window. Well, yes, this is always a good method there. When all else fails, just use common sense and look out the window. Adam Schrafer saying, roll tide. Well, of course. Why wouldn't we? Got some Alabama fans there. All right, so let's see. I think that's all of the actual questions. Yeah, I'm going to be worthless on any early intel on school cancellations or delays. I never know. They don't really consult me directly. Only occasionally does that happen, and then they never tip their cards as to whether they're going to stay open or not. One of the reasons, and you mentioned this a minute ago, why do we always start with rain and change to snow? Well, it's not complicated at all. It has to do with how deep the layer of freezing air is, or air below freezing. If it's 5,000 feet thick or more, typically we just get a snow event. Excuse me. I don't know if I have allergies or what it is, but this time of night I start sneezing and coughing and get that scratch in my throat. It can't be nerves about doing the First Alert Weather Show at 9. Maybe you've had that happen. I mean, I sneezed my head off last night, and I'm not allergic to stuff. I don't know what it is. Anyway, enough of my gripes here. You didn't come for that. So a thick layer of freezing air, we get snow. But oftentimes here in the tri-state, what happens is we'll get a shallow layer of freezing or below freezing air near the surface, but right above it, especially along a warm front, you have the warm, moist air riding up and over the cold air. And if that layer is warm enough, or if the cold layer is thin enough, then you get that ugly mess that comes down. And it's either sleet, if you have quite a bit of freezing air, where the rain basically melts or freezes into a pellet, which bounces when it hits the ground, or the worst of all precip types, freezing rain. And that's the stuff that coats power lines. And, you know, we had the ice storm last year. You kind of know the drill on those. Fortunately, they're not rare, but they don't happen often enough that we have to worry about them all the time. I want to emphasize again, know where your underpasses are, especially you're driving down the road. You don't know. There might be a culvert under there or something, but it can freeze a lot quicker than the road bed that is actually on the soil, which keeps it warm and insulated. And so because bridges are typically made of concrete or steel, they conduct cold very well, and consequently they freeze before anything else. So careful on the bridges. We also mentioned perhaps a brief burst of heavy snowfall tonight, and heavy snow bands actually are caused by heavy precip coming down. It drags colder air down, causing a changeover to snow. And when that happens, you get a downdraft and you get very heavy snow underneath. It's not quite convective, like you wouldn't get thunder and lightning with it, but it's kind of in that same ballpark or same realm. And so because of the process here, with that downdraft and the heavier amount of moisture, you get brief heavy snowfall. And if we do, in fact, get snow tonight, there is a good way to measure it. And I know if you're like a lot of people I know, and it might be one of them, when you go out and measure it, you kind of stick it down there in the ground. Well, that's really not the best way to measure snow. Ideally, you would have a board out there that you had put out before the snow falls, and you'd want it to be located kind of away from your house or any structures that would cause drifting. So don't do it next to the house, maybe out, you know, toward the end of the driveway or something. That's a big snow there too. I don't think these people are going to get out for a month. Anyway, find a location where that snow appears to be kind of leveled out, and then stick your yardstick or ruler down and take 2 or 3 measurements out there, and then take the average. So if one's 1 inch and one's 3 and the other one's 2.5, you probably have somewhere around 2 inches of snow. Obviously, if you go with the higher amount, then, you know, we're going to say, oh, there was 4 inches of snow in Fairfield, when in fact it might have just been a little drift or something. So it's best to, you know, try to average that out to smooth your measurements. And then share your results. You can do that, you know, take a picture of your yardstick, your house, tell us where you are, and you can send it over either on Facebook or on the 14 First Alert app. Be sure to include your location. So we know, for example, Calhoun had the 1 inch of snow and Morganfield got sleet, or whatever it happens to be. That's very useful information for us then when we plot the maps and show what happened. All right, let me see if we have any more questions. Looks like a lot more. Justin Turnage, think dry air is working in. Keep having lulls and then becoming scattered on radar around the metro. Yeah, I know what you mean. Don't be fooled by those dry intrusions, though, because they can quickly fill back in with moisture, and they can create an environment where you have evaporation up there and evaporative cooling, so you get some sleet out of there, too. D. Matzel says, praying for everyone's safety. You have to go to work and return home. I second that prayer. That's a good idea. Sleeting in Beulah, Kentucky. Now it's raining. Yeah, Susan Steele has ice on the patio. How about the weather in Morganfield, Kentucky? Well, Morganfield, as I showed you there a moment ago, we can go back to the radar here and look. There wasn't a lot happening there in Union County. Let's just take a look. I think I got my radar. That might not be the right one. Let's see. Nope, I've got to go back the other way here. That's the forecast model. There we go. Radar takes a second there to load. Now it's in, and it looks like here in Union County, oh, we'll let it come on. Don't do that to me. All right, so you said Morganfield, so we got to go right here to the middle along US 60. So at the moment, it looks like you're kind of between, little bouts of snow. Now, this is, the radar does a precipitation depiction, and sometimes that gets fooled because it depends on the level it's looking at. If it's looking up high and it sees colder air, it's going to calculate snow, whereas if the temperature on the ground there is actually, 33 or 4, might be coming down as rain. But in either case, whatever's coming in now will be replaced a little later this evening by what's brewing here to our west, and I will show you that. And you see more of this banded structure in the snow. This is actually using the radar there from Paducah. So I think the main snow event, if we are to get accumulating snow, will happen still quite a bit later as that sweeps through. All right, I'll have a full forecast for you at 10 and any dated data that I get at that point. In the meantime, please stay safe, and we'll see you on 14 News at 10. Thanks for watching.